Allegations of criminal conspiracy ahead of local government elections in Trinidad and Tobago. And in sport, the new Trinidad and Tobago Football Association boss calls for accountability. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Thursday, November 28th, 2019. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Diamond dancing, yeah, they grip walks. Ain't no lame brain and running game with the slick talk. Cut you off like a electrical company.
That you feel like too. Feeling for your touch, not your love online. Give me something realistic.
I can move in a room full of vultures, boy. Yeah, my body different. I'm a shooter, but I snipe though. Her body.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My wife has given me permission to speak tonight. You know, some 50 years ago, a small group of visionary students on the campus of Howard University, in their low to mid-20s, saw a need not only for the students to connect among themselves on the campus,
Trinidad and Tobago's National Security Minister, Stuart Young, has alleged that there is criminal conspiracy at play in the lead-up to next Monday's local government elections. Now, speaking in the Senate yesterday on the Bail Amendment Act, he disclosed intelligence about disturbing conversations between a sitting member of Parliament and people behind prisons' walls about strategies for those elections. He said that was contained in one of 3 reports from the special branch.
This report in particular talks about meetings with a notorious gang leader and the promise of contracts estimated at $14 million after the upcoming elections. They're also, not on the PNM side, there are also other matters that have come to attention on activities taking place on the East-West corridor.
In other news now, there has still been no decision by the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, on the use of data collected in the House verification process, which was conducted ahead of the March 2nd, 2020 general and regional elections. Opposition-nominated Commissioner Sassy Gunraj told reporters the Commission is still having challenges with that exercise. Now, according to him, 60,000 fingerprints sent for cross-matching did not correspond with data on the National Register of Registrants.
On the face of it, one would want to suggest or assume that those are new persons. However, the Chief Election Officer has indicated to us that the Secretariat on the went through a process where they interrogated and looked at that cross-matching report, and they have found about 17,000+ people who were not hits or were presumed to be new to be already on the database. So what we do with that information is anyone's guess. There is a lot of contentious debate in the Secretariat about what is to be there. We have taken decisions to contact the service provider of the fingerprint cross-matching, but that is where we are.
In the Bahamas, former Cabinet Minister Shane Gibson has been acquitted of 15 bribery charges. A 9-member jury handed down the not guilty verdict yesterday after less than 2 hours of deliberation. The 58-year-old former Labour minister had been accused of receiving more than $250,000 from a contractor to speed up $1 million in payments that the government owed for cleanup work in the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew in October 2016. More in this Eyewitness News report.
Outside the courthouse telling reporters that he felt justice prevailed today.
When you have the Prime Minister of a country, the Attorney General of a country, the Minister of National Security, who is my second cousin, our grandmothers were sisters. When you have the Commissioner of Police, And when you have the Director of Public Prosecutions along with other cabinet ministers conspiring against you, only God could deliver you.
And although many criticized Gibson for not taking the stand, he said that his defense was solid.
I'm going to speak much more to my future and more details about what actually transpired because, as you know, I didn't take the stand because I didn't have to. And we thought their case was so weak. We said I didn't have to take the stand because we knew that they couldn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that I did what they said I did.
Gibson's lead attorney Keith Knight told reporters that although this case proved to be challenging, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
It was a very difficult case, and the difficulty arose because of the injustice of the investigation. If this case had been investigated in the normal legal way, no charge would have been brought against Shane Gibson.
And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next. Trinidad and Tobago Football Association President William Wallace and his executive have wasted no time in getting down to business, calling on managers of the game to give an account of their stewardship under the previous David John Williams-led administration. As we also hear in this report from TV6's Sergio Defoe, the new executive will be forced to deal with a slew of court matters and massive debt.
Now that the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association elections are over, new President William Wallace has met with the senior men's national team manager Richard Piper and head coach Dennis Lawrence. They also met with head of the TTFA Elite Program Gary St. Rose. Piper was asked to submit a 2019 manager's report, while Lawrence must also submit a technical report with particular reference to the 2019 Gold Cup and the Nations League tournaments. St. Rose was directed to submit a 2019 report on the elite program and a budget for 2020. With regards to the issue of debt, it was revealed that the TTFA faces 13 legal cases, and at present the established debt discovered stands at TT $50 million. This is inclusive of a TT $1.7 million for the unfinished home of football. Some other talking points in the report include the resignation of General Secretary Kamara David, effective 30th November. They also vowed to host a quarterly media roundtable to facilitate transparency and cordial relations with the media. With regards to the women, the report stated that preliminary discussions began for the national under-20 women's team participation in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers scheduled for February 2020. It added that the assessment of the TTFA League of Champions was completed, but did not state whether or not it would be scrapped or allowed to continue.
And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.